These are the 25 most hated actors of 2024, starting with Robert De Niro, who is hated for 4 main reasons. First, he's been accused of treating his staff like absolute garbage. His former assistant, Graham Chase Robinson, took him to court over claims of sex discrimination and verbal abuse. She alleged that De Niro forced her into stereotypical women's work, like buttoning his shirts, waking him up, and, believe it or not, scratching his back. She also said he regularly insulted her, calling her a brat and refusing to pay her fairly. The lawsuit ended with De Niro's company shelling out $1.2 million in damages after an ugly legal battle. Second, De Niro's political outbursts have become downright exhausting for many. Whether he's dropping F-bombs on live TV about President Trump,
I'm going to say one thing, Trump,
or hijacking interviews with aggressive political rants, plenty of people feel he's shifted from legendary actor to just another out-of-touch celebrity. Third, his movie choices lately have been nothing short of terrible. Once known for iconic roles in Goodfellas and Taxi Driver, De Niro has been cranking out one dud after another. Films like The War with Grandpa, Dirty Grandpa, and The Big Wedding were all roasted as lazy cash grabs. Fourth, his temper is downright infamous. De Niro is known for snapping at journalists, storming out of interviews, and throwing full-blown tantrums. One of his most legendary meltdowns happened in 2014 when he walked out of an interview with Radio Times, leaving the journalist so stunned they later described him as condescending. And let's not forget the explosive voicemail he reportedly left for his former assistant, scolding her for ignoring his calls and telling her shame on you. Be sure to stick to the end to see the just why people have recently started hating on Jack Black. Number 24. Dwayne Johnson. One of the biggest complaints about Dwayne Johnson is that he just doesn't feel authentic anymore. He used to be the underdog, hardworking, determined, and easy to root for. But now, everything about him feels scripted and promotional. Whether it's Zoe energy drinks, Terramana tequila, Under Armour gear, or his latest blockbuster, his social media presence has become one giant infomercial. Fans aren't buying it. They feel like he's more focused on pushing products than actually engaging with them. Every move he makes comes off as a calculated business strategy, and people are just sick of it. Then there's the Black Adam disaster. Johnson hyped the film as a game changer for the DC universe, promising that it would shift the hierarchy of power. But when the movie flopped both critically and financially, he refused to admit it. Instead, he pushed a false narrative, claiming it was a massive success. Reports even surfaced that he and his team leaked altered financial data to make it seem more profitable than it actually was. Fans weren't fooled. The whole situation made him look desperate, like he was more concerned with protecting his ego than just being honest. And then came the WWE power grab, one of the biggest blows to his once loyal fan base. Wrestling fans adored The Rock during his prime, but his recent return to WWE left a bad taste in their mouths. As a board member of WWE's parent company, TKO Group, he used his influence to force himself into the WrestleMania XL main event, sidelining Cody Rhodes, the fan favorite who had been working toward a championship match for 2 years. The backlash was immediate. It got so bad that WWE had to reverse course. But instead of taking responsibility, The Rock mocked the fans, calling them crybabies for wanting Cody to get his moment. It was a terrible look, one that made him seem out of touch, self-absorbed, and completely dismissive of the fans who once worshipped him. Then there's his humble guy act, which people are finally starting to see through. Johnson loves to push the narrative that he's just a regular guy who made it big. But behind the scenes, his Hollywood ego tells a different story. He's been accused of demanding script changes to make himself look better, refusing to take on roles that don't portray him as unstoppable, and even blocking Black Adam from interacting with Shazam, a character that's supposed to be his direct rival. And let's not forget the Vin Diesel and Tyrese beef, another example of Johnson clashing with co-stars and stirring up unnecessary drama. Then there's the lack of range. Whether it's Jungle Cruise, Red Notice, Rampage, Jumanji, or Black Adam, Johnson plays the same exact character in every movie. Fans have called him out for it. Critics have too. Meanwhile, other action stars like Keanu Reeves and Tom Cruise, who we'll talk about later, are actually taking risks. Johnson's refusal to step out of his comfort zone has made his movies predictable, repetitive, and just plain boring. Number 23. Amber Heard. Heard's most infamous controversy? Her brutal legal war with Johnny Depp. Back in 2016, she accused Depp of domestic abuse, a claim that cost him major movie roles, including Pirates of the Caribbean. But by 2022, everything changed. The defamation trial exposed bombshell evidence, audio recordings of Heard admitting to hitting Depp and mocking him. The jury ruled in Depp's favor, finding that Heard had defamed him. Fans were outraged, branding her a manipulative liar who nearly wrecked his career with false accusations. Then came the charity scandal. In court, Heard swore she had donated her entire $7 million divorce settlement to charity, half to the ACLU, half to the Children's Hospital Los Angeles. Reality check, she hadn't. When Depp's lawyers confronted her, she scrambled for an excuse, claiming she had pledged the money. But pledging and actually donating are two very different things. Fans weren't buying it, and the lies kept piling up. Heard's legal team argued she used a Milani color-correcting palette to cover bruises throughout her relationship with Depp. The problem? That makeup palette wasn't even released until 2017, a full year after Heard filed for divorce. Milani itself called her out, and the backlash only grew. Then there was the poop incident. This one is as disgusting as it is infamous. Depp testified that Heard defecated on his bed after an argument. She denied it, blaming the dog. But let's be real. Even her own security team reportedly confirmed it was human. The internet had a field day, turning the scandal into endless memes. Amber Turd trended worldwide, and it did nothing to help her already crumbling image. To top it all off, Heard had a habit of throwing people under the bus. During the trial, she blamed everyone: her former assistant, her legal team, even Kate Moss. She claimed Depp had once pushed Moss down the stairs. But in a dramatic courtroom moment, Moss herself publicly shut down the claim. Another lie exposed. Another blow to Heard's credibility. Number 22. J.Lo. Some do not like that J.Lo steals songs. J.Lo has made a career out of catchy pop hits, but here's the kicker. A lot of them weren't even hers to begin with. Songs like Jenny from the Block and I'm Real feature vocals from other singers that were never credited, including Ashanti and Christina Milian. People were shocked to learn that Lopez didn't even sing parts of her own songs. Ashanti's vocals were used on Ain't It Funny remix and I'm Real remix without proper credit. Milian, who wrote Play, has said she was stunned to hear her own voice on J.Lo's track because Lopez didn't bother to re-record the lyrics. That's straight up shady. She also treats her backup dancers like disposable accessories. The most infamous example? She refused to hire dancers who were Virgos. That's right, during an audition, Lopez supposedly asked for dancers' zodiac signs and eliminated all Virgos on the spot. Multiple former dancers, including some who worked with her in the early 2000s, have also spilled tea on her cold and dismissive attitude toward them. How about the constant copying other celebs? Over the years, she's been accused of swagger-jacking other stars. Take the time she recreated Beyoncé's entire Drunk in Love Grammy performance in 2023, but refused to acknowledge the similarities. Or the way she tried to mimic Madonna's Super Bowl style with an over-the-top gladiator-themed entrance. Fans also clocked her for borrowing aesthetics, phrases, and even music styles from other artists. And let's be real, J.Lo's entire early 2000s aesthetic mirrored Mariah Carey, even though she famously said, "I don't know her," when asked about Mariah. How's about her complaint against sharing a stage with Shakira during the 2020 Super Bowl halftime show? In her 2022 Netflix documentary Halftime, Lopez complained that having two headliners was the worst idea in the world, and that they should have been given more time instead of being forced to split the performance. She was visibly upset, saying, "If it was going to be a double headliner, they should have given us 20 minutes. That's what they should have fucking done." Her response rubbed people the wrong way, with some stating that she wanted the stage all to herself. In addition, some people are fuming over claims that J.Lo is a tip thief. Apparently, when she's out with Ben Affleck, the guy is generous with his tips, but Jenny from the Block, not so much. Word is she has a habit of snatching back his cash and replacing it with pocket change. One wild story claims that Ben once tipped a waitress $10,000 after she served him all night at a casino, only for J.Lo to yank the money back, allegedly shouting, "Hell no!" That's next level stingy. Don't feel sorry. Ben sent $25,000 to the waitress the next day. Number 21. Amy Schumer. Schumer has been accused of stealing jokes, and that doesn't sit well with most people. Schumer has a long history of being called out for allegedly ripping off other comedians. In 2016, a viral video surfaced comparing her jokes to those of Kathleen Madigan, Wendy Liebman, Patrice O'Neal, and Tammy Pescatelli, and the similarities were way too close for comfort. A lot of people also find her humor repetitive and painfully unfunny. Too often, she relies on lazy shock value rather than actual clever writing. Her go-to topics, her lady parts, her sex life, and fart jokes, rinse and repeat. Number 20. Dr. Oz. Dr. Oz has been slammed for peddling bogus health products like their miracle solutions. One of the biggest scandals? His green coffee bean extract fiasco. He hyped it as a magic weight loss cure in 2012, only for the FTC to expose the entire thing as a scam. The supplement's manufacturer even had to pay $9 million in settlements for false advertising. Meanwhile, Oz walked away with fat checks from all the hype he built. Oz also has a long history of pushing pseudoscience. He gave a platform to anti-vaxxers, endorsed faith healing, and even promoted talking to the dead as a form of therapy. His own colleagues at Columbia University tried to get him fired, calling him a disgrace to the medical profession. Dr. Oz also got roasted alive by a U.S. Senate panel in 2014 for his misleading medical claims. Senator Claire McCaskill dragged him, calling him out for selling miracle products with zero scientific backing. He fumbled hard, admitting that the stuff he pushed on his show didn't have the scientific muster to pass as fact. Translation: he knew he was lying, but did it anyway. Then, when Oz ran for Senate in Pennsylvania in 2022, it was a train wreck from start to finish. First off, he wasn't even from Pennsylvania. He just bought a house there to run. Then he humiliated himself with a viral grocery store video where he called it Wegmans instead of Wegmans and complained about the cost of crudité, aka a veggie tray. The internet destroyed him for being out of touch. He lost badly to John Fetterman, and the memes alone were legendary. Number 19. Alyssa Milano. Some have labeled Alyssa here a hypocrite. Milano constantly preaches about feminism, activism, and standing up for women, until it's inconvenient for her. She was one of the loudest voices behind the Me Too movement. Yet she refused to support Tara Reade, the woman who accused Joe Biden of sexual assault. Even worse, Milano had previously supported Christine Blasey Ford in her allegations against Brett Kavanaugh, but conveniently switched gears when it was a Democrat under fire. Milano also loves painting herself as the ultimate victim. One of the most laughable examples? She once claimed she was canceled while still getting TV deals, sponsorships, and press coverage. If that's cancellation, then most people wouldn't mind being canceled. She also had a public meltdown over Elon Musk taking over Twitter, dramatically whining that she had to sell her Tesla because Musk was too problematic. Meanwhile, she tried to replace it with a Volkswagen, a company literally founded by the Nazis. People had a field day with that one. Her political takes are also a mess. Milano tweets about politics non-stop, but the problem is that she rarely knows what she's talking about. She once tried to educate people on defunding the police, only for it to be revealed that she had called the cops on a neighborhood teenager for looking suspicious near her house. She also brags about her charity work, yet when people ask for specifics on where her donations go, she dodges the question like an Olympic sprinter. Number 18. Ellen DeGeneres. The kind actor and TV host, until she wasn't. Ellen sold herself as the queen of kindness, but people quickly realized it was all an act. Just ask Dakota Johnson, who famously shut Ellen down on live TV when Ellen pretended she wasn't invited to Dakota's birthday party. Dakota called her out, saying,
"Actually, no, that's not the truth, Ellen. You were invited."
The awkward silence that followed? Priceless. The real kicker? Ellen wasn't even kind to her own employees. Reports from former staffers revealed a toxic work environment where producers bullied and harassed employees, and Ellen allegedly turned a blind eye to it all. People were told not to look her in the eyes and not to speak to her unless spoken to. Some staff members even said she fired people for taking medical leave. Ellen also seemed to enjoy making her guests uncomfortable, and not in a fun, playful way. When Mariah Carey was pregnant but hadn't announced it yet, Ellen forced her to drink alcohol on air to prove she wasn't expecting. Mariah was clearly uncomfortable. uncomfortable, and when she later revealed she had suffered a miscarriage, people were disgusted by how Ellen had pressured her. Turns out that even the people who adored her weren't safe from Ellen's bad behavior. She once shamed a fan for taking more than one free item from a merch table, even though the show literally encourages audience participation. Instead of handling it privately, Ellen played the footage on air and put the woman on blast in front of everyone. Real classy. Then when the backlash against Ellen's toxic workplace got too big to ignore, what did she do? Fired a bunch of producers and pretended like it was all their fault. Instead of taking responsibility, she scapegoated people who worked for her, acting like she was totally unaware of what had been happening for years. She also gave an on-air apology that fell completely flat. She basically acted like she was the real victim, brushing everything off as if she had no idea what was happening behind the scenes. Nobody was fooled. Her recent stand-up routine has not helped either, as people still have a special loathing for her. Number 17, Alec Baldwin. The biggest and most obvious reason people have turned against Baldwin is the fatal shooting of cinematographer Halyna Hutchins on the set of Rust in 2021. He claimed he never pulled the trigger, but an FBI investigation later contradicted him, stating that the gun couldn't have fired without a pull of the trigger. Lawsuits, charges, and PR gymnastics followed, making Baldwin look either grossly negligent or a liar, or both. It's hard to watch someone deflect all responsibility while playing the victim when a woman lost her life. Baldwin is also notorious for his explosive temper. Whether it's screaming at paparazzi, shoving reporters, or even getting arrested for punching a guy over a parking spot in 2018, he's got a long rap sheet of rage-fueled incidents. Then there is that infamous voicemail to his then 11-year-old daughter Ireland in 2007 that cemented Baldwin as an absolute jerk. In it, he called her a rude, thoughtless little pig because she didn't answer his call. Yikes. The audio leaked, and suddenly Baldwin wasn't just the grumpy actor who yelled at photographers, he was an actual menace to his own child. Number 16, James Corden. Before his glorious downfall, Corden had mastered the art of playing the bubbly, friendly host on screen. But behind the scenes, it was a different story. Multiple reports from staffers and colleagues exposed his diva behavior, with former crew members calling him rude, dismissive, and downright nasty when the cameras weren't rolling. He's been accused of snapping at production assistants and treating crew members like they're beneath him. Corden also made headlines for getting banned from Balthazar, a fancy NYC restaurant, after reports surfaced of him yelling at waitstaff over minor mistakes. According to the restaurant owner, Corden threw a tantrum over his wife's omelet, berating servers like they personally ruined his day. The owner of the restaurant called Corden a tiny cretin of a man and described him as the most abusive customer to my Balthazar servers since the restaurant opened 25 years ago. He later apologized when the backlash hit, but it only made him look worse, like he only cared because he got caught. Then there is the carpool karaoke, where he drives around with A-list musicians and sings with them. Except he's not actually driving. Fans were furious when a behind-the-scenes video surfaced showing that the car was being towed while Corden pretended to drive. People felt completely duped, and it added to the growing perception that Corden is just one big phony. People also don't like just how rude and condescending he was towards legendary actor Patrick Stewart at an award show in 2010, and people do not like his acting at all. His role in Cinderella was so bad that it sparked an entire online petition to stop him from being in musicals ever again. Number 15, Danny Masterson. Let's start with the biggest reason people hate Masterson. He's a convicted inmate for forcible sexual assault. Masterson was found guilty of forcing himself onto 2 women between 2001 and 2003 and was sentenced to 30 years to life in prison in 2023. This wasn't some tabloid scandal. This was a real courtroom conviction with overwhelming testimony from victims who described horrifying encounters. He also tried to use Scientology, his religion, to silence his victims. The Church of Scientology played a major role in shielding him from accountability, allegedly pressuring his victims not to report him. The victims testified that they were harassed, stalked, and threatened after coming forward, and all roads led back to Masterson's deep ties to the church. People also hate that even after getting sentenced to decades behind bars, Masterson still acts like he's some wrongfully accused martyr. There were zero apologies, no accountability, and nothing but arrogance from him throughout the trial. He smirked in court, acted like he was untouchable, and his defense strategy was basically denial and deflection. Number 14. Oprah Winfrey. So, why exactly do people hate Oprah? Well, for starters, she's a billionaire, and in today's world, that alone makes her an easy target. Social media loves nothing more than tearing down the rich, with countless posts explaining why her wealth is a problem. But that's just the beginning. Oprah has also been linked, directly or indirectly, to some deeply controversial figures. She's been close to powerful people, but also to certified sleazeballs like Jeffrey Epstein and Harvey Weinstein. The accusation? That she allegedly knew about their predatory behavior and chose to look the other way. Then there's the issue of her clueless moments, like when she encouraged everyday people to donate to the Maui Wildfires Fund, while only contributing a fraction of her billionaire fortune. It didn't sit well with folks, and the backlash was swift. And let's talk about her interview style. It's been called invasive, too probing, sometimes even brutal. Some fellow celebrities aren't fans either. Monique has openly accused Oprah of blackballing her, while Taraji P. Henson revealed that she was offered an insultingly low salary for her role as Shug Avery in The Color Purple, a film co-produced by Oprah herself. According to Taraji, the pay was so bad she almost walked away from the role entirely. Then there's her leadership at the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls in South Africa. While it was created with good intentions, the school has been plagued by sexual abuse scandals and disturbing allegations that seem to surface every few months. Number 13. Rosie O'Donnell. Perhaps the most damning reason people dislike Rosie is her rocky relationship with her adopted daughter, Chelsea O'Donnell. Chelsea has publicly spoken out about how Rosie kicked her out at 17, leaving her homeless and struggling with mental health issues. Rosie, of course, denied everything, but Chelsea insisted that her famous mother was emotionally abusive and controlling. Rosie also has a reputation for being loud, brash, and downright unpleasant to those around her. Former co-workers, talk show guests, and even fans have described her as difficult and entitled. Take her time on The View. She constantly clashed with Elizabeth Hasselbeck, even going on aggressive rants that made for uncomfortable TV. It got so bad that she left the show, and who could forget when she mocked Anne Heche's mental health struggles on air? Not exactly a class act. Rosie and Donald Trump have also been at each other's throats for years, trading insults like it's a national sport. She's called him a snake oil salesman and mentally unstable, while he's hit back, branding her a loser and disgusting. That has earned her a bit of hate from Trump's supporters. Number 12. Adam Sandler. Some hate Sandler here because he makes lazy, low-effort movies. Sandler has a reputation for making movies that feel like vacations with his buddies, because they basically are. Grown-Ups and its sequel, just an excuse to hang out at a luxury resort with his pals. Jack and Jill, a painfully bad comedy where he played both lead roles, including an over-the-top, unfunny female character. His Netflix deal churned out forgettable, low-effort films like The Ridiculous Six, which holds a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. The dude gets paid millions to make what often feels like lazy, cash-grab comedies, and people are tired of it. People also don't like that he recycles the same jokes over and over. How many times do we need to see Sandler play an immature man-child who suddenly gets his act together by the end of the movie? From Billy Madison to Big Daddy to The Waterboy, it's the same shtick every time. He also loves weird, exaggerated voices, looking at you, little Nicky, gross-out humor, and over-the-top slapstick that feels outdated. People aren't laughing anymore, they're just annoyed. Number 11. Chris Brown. Chris Brown's reputation never fully recovered after the 2009 assault on Rihanna. The brutal images of her injuries shocked the world, and despite years passing, many people refuse to forgive or forget. Chris Brown's violent tendencies didn't end with Rihanna. Over the years, he has been involved in multiple altercations, including brawls with fellow celebrities like Drake, Frank Ocean, and Migos. Fans and industry professionals alike have also called out Chris Brown for being hot-headed and entitled. He has been accused of throwing temper tantrums, such as when he smashed a window at Good Morning America after being asked about Rihanna. Brown also seems to thrive on drama. He has had public feuds with Drake, Soulja Boy, Offset, and even Karruecha Tran, his ex-girlfriend who filed a restraining order against him for alleged threats and abuse. His online rants and social media meltdowns only add fuel to the fire, making him look immature and volatile. Number 10. Kim Kardashian. People can't get over the fact that Kim Kardashian skyrocketed to fame because of a leaked tape of the questionable kind. Unlike actors, musicians, or athletes, she didn't earn her fame and billions through talent. Instead, she capitalized on controversy, turning a scandal into a media empire. Some hate that she contributes nothing meaningful to entertainment, yet dominates headlines, magazine covers, and social media. She also promotes unrealistic beauty standards. Kim's entire brand is built on looking flawless, but much of it is artificial. Between alleged plastic surgeries, extreme Photoshop edits, and the overuse of filters, she presents an unattainable image of beauty. People point to her infamous Skims ads, where her waist appears impossibly tiny, or her viral Met Gala look, where she allegedly lost 16 pounds in 3 weeks to fit into Marilyn Monroe's dress. She's setting up impossible expectations, making millions while others suffer from body image issues. Kim's hate also arises from profiting from cultures that aren't hers. She's worn cornrows multiple times and renamed them Bo Derek braids. She's also called her shapewear line kimono, despite having no ties to Japanese culture. Kim also loves showing off her riches, and people find it tone deaf. Whether it's her million-dollar jewelry collection, her lavish private jets, or her sprawling $60 million mansion, it all feels out of touch, especially in tough economic times. During the COVID-19 pandemic, she famously posted about her extravagant private island birthday party, saying she felt so humbled and blessed, while people struggled worldwide. That post became a meme because of how oblivious it sounded. Then there are her staged relationships, with the most infamous one being her 72-day marriage to Chris Humphries. It was so ridiculous that many suspected it was all for ratings. She's been accused of shady business dealings, including exploiting workers in overseas sweatshops, falsely marketing her products, and even stealing ideas from small designers. In 2022, she was fined $1.26 million for failing to disclose that she was paid to promote a cryptocurrency. Number 9. James Franco's sexual misconduct allegations. This is the biggest reason people, including his best friend, turned on James Franco. Franco was accused of using his acting school, Studio 4, to prey on young women, coercing them into uncomfortable situations under the guise of acting lessons. Several students claimed they were pressured into explicit scenes that had zero educational value. It wasn't just random accusations either. Franco ended up settling a lawsuit in 2021 with 2 former students. People weren't buying his half-hearted apology, especially since he conveniently waited until Spider-Man: No Way Home came out to suddenly reflect on his past mistakes. Everyone, including his best bud Seth Rogen, distanced himself from him. Rogen publicly cut ties with Franco after the misconduct allegations went viral. Rogen said he had no plans to work with Franco again and admitted the situation made him reevaluate their friendship. Additionally, when James Franco was 35 years old, he got caught flirting with a 17-year-old girl in her DMs. He asked if she had a boyfriend, tried to get her to meet him at a hotel, and even sent her pictures to prove he was really him. She exposed the messages, and Franco was left scrambling to save face. Number 8. Jared Leto. Leto takes method acting to absurd levels, and it often rubs people the wrong way. While filming Suicide Squad, he reportedly sent disturbing gifts to his co-stars, including a dead pig and used condoms. Many saw this as unnecessary and unsettling rather than an impressive commitment to his craft. When Leto was cast as the Joker in Suicide Squad, expectations were high. Instead, he delivered a cringe-worthy, overacted performance that critics and fans widely panned. His take on the character was seen as forced. Leto also runs a fan retreat called Mars Island for his band 30 Seconds to Mars, where fans pay thousands to essentially worship him. He's been accused of treating his band like a cult, complete with white robes, bizarre gatherings, and a messianic image. Multiple reports have also surfaced over the years about Leto's questionable interactions with underage fans. Allegations of predatory behavior have circulated in Hollywood circles, and though nothing has been proven in court, these accusations have significantly damaged his love among the public. Number 7. Jada Pinkett Smith. Jada often paints herself as the wise, self-empowered matriarch, but many believe she constantly throws Will Smith under the bus, one of the biggest reasons she is widely hated today. From her Red Table Talk revelations, where she admitted to an entanglement with August Alsina, to her recent claims that she and Will had secretly been separated for years, fans are convinced she humiliates him for personal gain. Jada's relationship with August Alsina was scandalous, not just because she was married, but because August was a young man struggling with personal issues, and people saw it as a cougar exploiting a vulnerable young boy. Then take the Oscars slap. Even though it was Will who physically slapped Chris Rock, many blame Jada for setting the stage. She was visibly unamused by Rock's joke about her bald head, and the next thing you know, Will is storming the stage. When the dust settled, she played the victim and distanced herself from the incident, leaving Will to deal with the fallout alone. Some are also fed up with her weird family dynamic and the fact that she can't stop talking about Tupac, how good they were together, how he was her one true soulmate, and how no one else, including Will Smith, could ever measure up. Jada also encouraged her son Jaden to move out at just 14, and she seemed unbothered when 13-year-old Willow Smith was linked to a 23-year-old, with photos of them lounging in their underwear on a bed circulating online. Number 6. Jussie Smollett. Faking a hate crime is largely why people can't stand this lad. Back in 2019, Smollett claimed he was attacked by 2 white Trump supporters in MAGA hats who hurled racist and homophobic slurs at him before beating him up and putting a noose around his neck. Turns out he hired 2 guys, his own personal trainers, to stage the whole thing. The security footage, phone records, and their confessions made it undeniable. Most people, when caught in a lie this big, would at least try to make amends. Not Jussie. He doubled down. Even after overwhelming evidence proved he faked the attack, he played the victim, insisting he was innocent. He went on TV, did interviews, and pretended he was still a target of hate. Nobody was buying it. Smollett didn't just humiliate himself, he wasted police resources in a city that already has a crime problem. The Chicago PD reportedly spent over $130,000 investigating his fake attack. That's money and manpower that could have gone towards solving actual crimes. People also hated how Smollett tried to weaponize his identity to shield himself from criticism. When the truth came out, he didn't just apologize or admit wrongdoing. He started implying that people weren't believing him because he was black and gay. Number 5. JoJo Siwa. Some people can't stand the fact that, despite being 21 and built like an athlete, JoJo Siwa still dresses, acts, and talks like a child. It feels forced, it feels weird, and to some, it's downright annoying. Then there's her alleged personality. Loud, overbearing, and according to some, downright rude, even to her own family. She brags, she flaunts, she acts spoiled. Critics also argue that her talent is, well, questionable. Her music, allegedly drenched in auto-tune. Her merchandise, overpriced to the point of absurdity. Fans, sure, she has them, but even some of them were put off by her hypersexualized Karma music video, which felt like an awkward attempt at rebranding. Then there was the moment that sent the internet into a collective eye roll, her claim that she invented gay pop, a genre that very much already existed. And if that wasn't enough, JoJo has also fiercely defended Abby Lee Miller, the controversial dance coach from Dance Moms. She's gone to bat for her multiple times, despite clear footage of Abby being verbally abusive, racially insensitive, and outright cruel to kids and their parents. Many find that loyalty disturbing. All of this combined, it's no surprise JoJo has built up quite the list of detractors. Number 4. Will Smith. Will used to be that pitiful guy whose wife slept with her son's friend, and then he went on to slap Chris Rock. The 2022 Oscar slap was a defining moment in Will Smith's career, and not in a good way. The guy walked up on stage and smacked Chris Rock across the face on live television over a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith. It wasn't just the slap, it was the rage-filled rant afterward, followed by him smugly dancing at the after-party as if nothing happened. People saw it as narcissistic, unhinged, and completely unprofessional. And while he did apologize, it felt way too late and way too rehearsed. For decades, Will played the lovable, charismatic superstar. But since the slap, people have started looking at him differently. The nice guy act? Many believe it was just that, an act. The slap was one thing, but his follow-up apology videos and speeches felt calculated and scripted, as if they were made just to fix his reputation rather than show real remorse. People are also exhausted by Will and Jada Pinkett Smith's marriage drama. Jada's endless oversharing, from her entanglement with August Alsina to casually revealing that she and Will have been separated since 2016, makes Will look weak and constantly humiliated. Worse, he plays along with it. His desperate attempts to appear supportive while Jada publicly tears him down over and over again make people lose respect for him. It's like watching someone willingly be a doormat. Now, nepotism in Hollywood is nothing new, but Will pushed Jaden Smith down everyone's throats, and people didn't forget it. From starring in the box office Disaster After Earth to making cringe-worthy philosophical rants about how he's on a different level of intelligence than regular people, Jaden has become one of the most mocked celebrity kids out there. And who kept hyping him up like he was the second coming of Einstein? Will Smith. In addition, Will Smith's film choices have been terrible in recent years. Gemini Man, a disaster. Emancipation, a flop. Bright, critically panned. People have lost interest in him as a movie star, and it doesn't help that his personal life now overshadows his talent. No one takes him seriously anymore, and his attempts to regain his action hero status just don't land the way they used to. Number 2. Whoopi Goldberg. Some people just don't like Whoopi. She is rude and condescending. Let's be real. Whoopi treats The View like her show, and her co-hosts like background extras. She constantly interrupts them, shuts down opinions she doesn't like, and acts bored or irritated when anyone challenges her. One of her most infamous moments was when she snapped at Meghan McCain, saying, "Girl, please stop talking." The tension was real. Whoopi also put her foot in her mouth in a spectacularly bad way when she claimed the Holocaust wasn't about race on The View. People were stunned. She doubled down, saying it was just about man's inhumanity to man, which, of course, is historically inaccurate. ABC suspended her for 2 weeks. She also defended Roman Polanski, who drugged and forced himself onto a 13-year-old girl, fled the country, and has been avoiding U.S. justice ever since. Number 1. Jack Black. Some actors are naturally funny. Jack Black? Some say he tries way too hard. He doesn't just tell a joke, he screams it. He doesn't just act silly, he flails around like a cartoon character. Black gets lumped in with comedy legends, but let's be honest, he's not even close. He's no Jim Carrey, he's no Robin Williams, he's not even Will Ferrell. His humor is lowbrow, mostly relying on shouting, weird noises, and awkward physical gags. Some people love that, sure, but others think it's the comedic equivalent of a toddler throwing a tantrum, and he never goes away. Even when he's not starring in a major movie, he's popping up in weird YouTube videos, TikTok clips, or interviews where he's jumping around and making weird faces like an overgrown kid. He's the human version of a meme that won't die. Some also say Black doesn't exactly have range. Whether he's playing Dewey Finn in School of Rock, Poe in Kung Fu Panda, or R.L. Stein in Goosebumps, he's basically just being Jack Black. The same frantic energy, the same exaggerated facial expressions, the same wild, screaming rants. It's funny once or twice, but after a while, it gets old, fast. His taking a political stance during the 2024 presidential elections has but helped worsen the situation for him. Click here to see the most hated versus the most loved actors currently. See you there.